According to the history books, the Iraq War began on the 20th of March, 2003. And the history books are right. The Iraq War did begin on the 20th of March, 2003. But no war begins on the day the first shot is fired. There's always a prelude. Sometimes it's a long-standing conflict that suddenly escalates. Something happens, some kind of incident that triggers the war. Sometimes these incidents are just an excuse to begin a war that someone, somewhere, has wanted to fight for a long time. In the case of the Iraq War, the incident/excuse has a name: 9/11. That was the day Osama bin Laden turned a couple of passenger planes into flying bombs and took down the Twin Towers in New York. And with the help of these toys, I'd like to show you what happened next. This here is bin Laden, as I'm sure you've been able to recognize, and this is President Bush. Days after the attack on September 11th, Bush announced that he would seek justice for the nearly 3,000 dead, and that he wants bin Laden dead or alive. Dead or alive is what they used to write on the wanted posters in the Wild West. As a matter of fact, the whole situation started to seem like something out of a spaghetti western. Everyone was preparing for the big showdown at high noon between the sheriff, Bush, and the hunted outlaw, bin Laden. Even the scenery was reminiscent of a western, with bin Laden hiding out in Afghanistan surrounded by sand and desert. And, like in every good western, there's the stare down before the showdown, waiting for the clock to strike 12. Until, a month after September 11th, Bush opened fire on bin Laden, and the hunt began. Bin Laden beat a hasty retreat, pulling back into the mountains of Afghanistan. And in December 2001, he was nearly completely surrounded by U.S. forces. Bin Laden was a sitting duck. And all Bush had to do was deal the final blow. And then, Bush lost interest in bin Laden and let him escape into neighboring Pakistan. Bush's attention at the time was directed toward a completely different place and a completely different person. Saddam didn't have anything to do with September 11th, a fact that Bush, it's also something that didn't keep him from painting Saddam as some kind of uber-terrorist. Hey, Saddam, you're threatening America with weapons of mass destruction and chemical and biological weapons and stuff. And as a matter of fact, I suspect you're making a nuclear bomb to attack the U.S. So show us your weapons and give yourself up. To which Saddam Hussein replied, and I'm paraphrasing here slightly, "Hey, are you talking to me? You've got the wrong man, you rabid son of a mutant jackal. No weapons of mass destruction around here. So back off and go cry to your daddy." And so on and so forth. This went on for about a year. Finally, on the 17th of March 2003, Bush presented Saddam with an ultimatum. One that was so extreme and so unrealistic that there was no way Saddam could comply. Especially not inside of 48 hours. So, it was war.